Here we go. Let's do this, everybody. It is episode number 70. 70 episodes of Three Things with JR. Here we go, everybody. I have no special guest tonight. It is just me all by my lonesome. It's too late. It's too late for a special guest. It is Monday, August 16th, as I sit here recording this. It's 10 minutes until Tuesday, August 17th. I waited too long. I usually record these Sunday afternoon or evening, in which I have time, in which people are available, and I can get a special guest. I can call somebody out of the blue, but it would just be rude to do that right now. It's too late on a Monday night to be just randomly calling people, hoping they will be on my podcast. So you're stuck with me, but that's okay, because I got shit to say. I've got stuff to talk to you about. First off, how we doing on this show? The show is going great. I'm getting more listeners. The numbers are slowly going up, and we have, as of the latest check of the stats on this show, 5 new countries. Somebody, at least one person, and it is most likely just one person in 5 different countries, have started listening to this show since the last time I checked. So just within the last few weeks, we have added Sweden, the Philippines, Belgium, Israel, and Norway. Somehow, the folks in those countries are ever so slowly discovering Three Things with JR. And I don't know why. What is it about this show that we're coming up on search results, or are there people just seeking out esoteric podcasts from random dudes in America? I don't know. What is causing this? How is it that we are going worldwide? It's pretty cool. I am happy to welcome our newest listeners. I hope they come back for another episode. I hope they understand the language and any of what I say makes any sense at all for you guys. So welcome to Three Things with JR, Sweden, Philippines, Belgium, Norway, and Israel. When I saw Israel, I was reminded that recently I've been trying out a new joke in my stand-up comedy act, and the joke has not gone over well. It's probably because I'm still figuring out the wording and the timing and all of that. It's not a great joke. It's not super incredibly clever. It's just an observation that right now in the world we live in August of 2021, we here in America have a abundance of vaccines available, and there are countries that have none available, and Israel is ahead of the United States in vaccinating the vast majority of their population. So much so that they are ready to start giving out third shots, booster shots to their vaccinations. And there are countries, again, that have zero, that have no vaccines and can't give them to their population. And it reminds me of me at a buffet. Not like a buffet restaurant, like a Golden Corral, but more like a potluck dinner where there are rules about not going up for a plate of seconds until everybody in the room has had a chance to get their first serving. And I am most definitely Israel in this example, because I am most certainly looking for an opportunity to go get seconds of whatever my favorite potluck dish is before all the people getting their first servings take it all, because I am a fat, greedy eater. I want the food. If it's good, I want it, and I want more. It's a little problem I have, but I'm definitely the Israel at the buffet. Israel looking to vaccinate a third time all of their population when there are countries that have had zero. So I get you. I feel you, Israel, but maybe just chill out a minute. Although, as I say all this, President Biden literally today, just within the last few hours, has said that we are all supposed to be getting our third shots. It's now available, especially for the immunocompromised. and people that are more susceptible than others. And pretty soon we should all be getting them within 8 months of our first vaccination. So I'm down. Bring it on. I'm looking for that third shot. If there's enough shots to go around, I do kind of wish that everybody could get fully vaccinated before we all start getting our third shots. However, if they're offering those third shots, I'm gonna go get one for sure, because I'm really into not wearing the mask, and I want to keep vaccinated. I want to keep safe. I want to go back to doing all the fun stuff. I'm going to a concert next week for the first time since this whole thing, and I would like to go maskless if possible, and I would like to hang out in a big crowd of sweaty humans watching and listening to the Dropkick Murphys, having a little mosh pit where we all run into each other and have a good time listening to great heavy-duty Celtic punk rock from Boston. So that would be the Dropkick Murphys in Richmond. I'm looking forward to that. If you're going to be there, I'll see you there, Wednesday the 25th in Richmond. Tonight I had an interesting experience at the Southern here on the downtown mall. It was our Monday night open mic night, and the Southern, the parent company of the Southern, Star Hill or whoever it is, just recently announced that for concert goers or show attendees, or basically any patrons of the Southern and the Jefferson and maybe the Paramount too, I'm not sure, but if you're going to go see a show at any of those places, and this includes the Monday night open mic comedy night, if you're going to go to any of those shows, you must provide proof of your fully vaccinated status or a negative COVID test from within the last 48 hours. Now, when I got there, there was nobody at the door. The fine folks that run the Southern were inside. So I went inside and I showed them my card and my ID to prove it was me that had gotten vaccinated back in the spring. And they said, we should probably have somebody at the door so people can't get actually into the room without us seeing their vaccination card. And they didn't have any extra staff on hand to do this. So I happily volunteered to be the guy standing out front of the venue, not letting anybody in until they could prove their vaccine or show their negative COVID test from within the last 48 hours. And I saw this as an opportunity to put my money where my mouth is and get out there and turn people away. And I was told this is a dumb thing to do, that I should expect controversy or maybe some what's the word? It's a simple word. Some conflict. Yeah, there we go. I might be inviting conflict, in which I'm not necessarily looking to be in conflict with people, but there might be some folks that might come to the door just to try to get in without their vaccine, and when they're not let in, they want to start a fight, start a ruckus, prove a point, make a big deal out of it. And I thought, that's not likely to happen. I'm willing to take the chance. And sure enough, nobody had a problem. Everybody that got into the Southern at tonight's open mic showed and had legit proof of their vaccine. And I had to turn a couple people away, but they were completely understanding. They were actually comedians that were hoping to perform, but were not able to tonight because they did not have their vaccine card. They said they had been vaccinated, and I had no reason not to believe them. They just couldn't prove it, so they couldn't get in. And I will say, from that experience, I would suggest anybody that has to do that job, bouncers, you've been doing this for years, right? Checking IDs before people go into places. It's just you're checking for something slightly different than normal now. I suggest bring a flashlight, so that you can actually read what's on the vaccine card and what's on their driver's license, because my 46, almost 47-year-old eyes had a tough time seeing names and dates in the low light situation. So I had to use the flashlight on my phone, or better yet, if you are showing up with your vaccine card, take a picture of it so it's on your phone so that it's nice and bright and you can zoom in on it, and your bouncer, your older bouncers like myself with not the greatest of eyes, will really appreciate not having to get out their own flashlight just to see your vaccine card. although we might still have to see your driver's license. I don't know. And also, what's up with the test? You can show up with a negative test from within the last 48 hours. And I know there are quick tests out there. They're home tests. You can get results fairly quickly. However, you can't always get results in 48 hours. Depends on where you got tested and how fast their processes are and how much the backup is. I think that 48 hours is kind of interesting as a choice because I think that's going to reduce the number of people that can show up and get in simply by showing their negative test, because it can be difficult to get the test results back in time and have the test having actually been taken within the last 48 hours. So joke's on you, anti-vaxxers. Get the vaccine, go to concerts. It should be that simple. I love the idea that they're actually requiring proof now, and I welcome it. I participate in it. I am all about it. So there you go. Facebook memories have been hitting the 3 things hard these days. I guess it was around 8 years ago that I started doing 3 things on Facebook as I was sitting there in my man cave at my old house, in my old marriage, sitting there, staying up way too late at night, thinking of dumb things to say and put on the internet and Facebook statuses and such. And they've been coming up as my Facebook memories here because I guess it was 8 years ago that I was doing that, and almost every day a new 3 things pops up, and it's pretty cool. Here's today's 3 things from August 16th, 8 years ago. So what is that, 2013? Yeah, something like that. I can do math. Sure. But here they are. They were quick. 3 things, the podcast lasts a lot longer than 3 things did on Facebook. You could read the whole thing in about 20 seconds. So here was what was on my mind 8 years ago today. Number 1, nothing. It's not possible to be thinking of nothing, because thinking about nothing makes nothing the thing of which you think, and that's something. Wow. Deep. Profound. Wow. Number 2. Headphones or speakers? A great song on a high-end pair of headphones is pretty amazing, but it kind of leaves the rest of your body out. With a big bad set of speakers and a lot of power, the music washes over me for a full body experience. Much better. And number 3, forget to eat. Who forgets to eat? Oh yeah, skinny people. I guess I have too good a memory. Good night. Ha! That was hilarious, right? That was something dumb. That's what I thought of. That's what I did. So, shall we get into the 3 things I've come up with for you tonight? I'm excited. I've got good ones for you. Number 1, 3 things. Number 1.
Thing number 1.
Practice makes perfect. Yeah, this is not an original thought. It's not super deep. It's just true. And I was reminded of this yesterday. I went to a putting clinic. Yes, that's how into disc golf I am. I paid a professional disc golfer $20, along with several other people actually, to show me or teach me or analyze or help me figure out how to be a better putter. Putting in disc golf, just like putting in regular golf, is when you get close to the hole, right? You're not throwing really far anymore. You're right there within 10, 20, 30 feet of the basket. You're going to throw your disc into that basket. You're close. So it's not a heave. It's not a huge throw. It's a putt. And putting is a really important part of disc golf, because if you can get your disc close to the hole, then you have to putt. And if you're 10 feet away or less, it's not hard to get it in pretty much most of the time. But as you get further out, 10, 20, 30, 40 feet, putting becomes a lot harder, and it's hard to be consistent. And there are so many things you can do to make yourself better at putting. You can think about your form, how your hand is holding the disc, how it's going to release it. Are you going to put a lot of spin on it, or are you just going to push it? Are you going to loft it? Are you going to throw it straight at it? Are you going to make it curve a little bit? There's so many little things. Where are your feet? Where are your hips? What direction are you pointed? How is your arm movement? Is it straight up and down, or is it kind of left and right? There's all these little things to think about. And that was what we did at the clinic, was think about all those little things. But that is only the beginning of what makes a better putter. I need to practice. I just need to do it. And that's what I did when I got home from work today. I immediately threw 30 putts into the basket or close to it, analyzing, thinking of all those little things. And I just kind of need to do that every day, at least that many, preferably more like 100 putts a day, just to get that muscle memory. And that's what practice makes perfect is all about. And I need to do it. Just a lesson for me. I was reminded of that at the putting clinic, that if I didn't go home and practice this on a daily basis, the putting clinic will have been for nothing. So otherwise, it's easily forgotten. And I don't want to do that. I want to be a better putter. I want to be a better disc golfer. I want to win something. And you're not winning anything in disc golf if you can't putt.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. There's no time for play. Get up, get up, get up. It's a brand new day.
Thing number 2.
Crutchfield, the podcast, is going truly worldwide, way more so than even this show, which, as I just told you, we added 5 new countries. I was just looking at some stats for the other podcast that I produce or work on or whatever. It's for my job. It's at Crutchfield. It's called Crutchfield, the podcast, kind of like Spaceballs, the movie. That was the inspiration for the title. But it's been a lot of fun to make Crutchfield, the podcast, to actually get paid real money to do a real show that people are really listening to. Whereas, this show, I might have anywhere from 20 to 80 people listen to each episode. Crutchfield, the podcast, has hundreds of people. And we're working on getting to thousands of people listening to each episode. I think I saw that we had 4,000 people listen to a recent episode, and that's freaking cool as shit. And there's a ton of countries on the list of where people are listening, and that is exciting to me. Some of the countries that we haven't even touched here with 3 Things with JR, but we've got Spain, Australia, Brazil, Denmark, the Republic of Korea, Bangladesh, Switzerland, Hungary, Ecuador, American Samoa, Kenya. Come on, this is a cool list of countries. And there are legitimately just one listener in a lot of those countries, but there's a lot more than that in a lot of these countries. And so that's just pretty cool. It's nice to know that people are listening and enjoying what we are making there over at Crutchfield, the podcast. If you are at all into audio, the stuff that Crutchfield sells, I mean, the place I work, my day job is to sell some of the coolest stuff around: TVs, car stereos, drones, cameras, consumer electronics of all types. And we talk to each other about what we chose to buy and why we chose to buy it. We talk to other employees. We talk to sales advisors. We talk to people that sell the products to Crutchfield, our vendor representatives. And we find out, those of us in the know, what do we choose to buy with our hard-earned money? Yeah, we get a discount, but what do we bring home to use and experience in our own homes, in our cars, and why, and how much are we enjoying it, and what music are we listening, what shows are we watching on our whatever we've bought. And it's a fun show to make because I get to talk to many Crutchfield employees and others in the business and have fun doing it. It is and get paid to have fun making a podcast. It's pretty cool. This is technically I'm getting paid for this podcast, but in 70 episodes on Anchor.com, I haven't gotten, I guess, enough listeners to generate any additional advertisers for this show. Maybe if we can get up to thousands of listeners, maybe there'll be more companies that want to advertise on this show. But so far, Anchor is the only ad that you hear on 3 Things with JR. That's it. And I get a penny, or roughly thereabouts, for every person who listens to the show. And you don't even have to click on it. You just need to listen to the show. So this show has made me $23.43 since April of 2020. So I haven't yet cashed that out, but I could at any moment. I could dump all of that into the bank account and go buy half a carton of cigarettes. Not even a half a carton of cigarettes. I could buy like 4 packs of cigarettes for that. Not a great way to measure the dollar amount, but there it is. So Crutchfield, the podcast, though, I get paid pretty well for what I do at Crutchfield, and I do a lot of other stuff besides just the podcast. But to have that included in how I earn my living is pretty sweet. It's a pretty good gig if you can get it, and I highly recommend it. The first version of Crutchfield, the podcast, I did it completely myself, not having really any clue what I was doing other than the content. The content I created as a sort of a test or a pilot episode was fun, but I didn't get it to sound great. I didn't know how to make a podcast sound good at that time, and it just didn't turn out great. But it was enough of a spark to get some people going and to get some backing and to get some people at Crutchfield to let me make a podcast. And now I have help. I don't have to do it all myself. I record the audio. There's several people involved in what all we're going to say. But for the most part, I get to say whatever makes sense for that episode. And I interview fun people and we make a show out of it. And it's been fantastic. So learned a lot, put a lot of that knowledge into making this show, making it sound better, getting all the stuff I need to make the show. And it's been rewarding. Got some feedback recently from a listener who said one of our most recent episodes was his favorite episode yet, implying he has listened to all of them and we are getting better. Our most recent episode was our best. And it was just cool to see that. So I don't know if any of you listeners to Three Things with JR feel like writing in response to this show. You can do that. If you click the link and go to the anchor. Let's see, what is my website? I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. Anchor.fm, or is it, let's go to my public site. I don't even know what my own podcast website is. Yeah, that's it. Anchor.fm/Three Things with JR. All one word, no punctuation. Go there, and then you can support the show. You can click to send me a message. You could just reply when I post up about it on Facebook. You can somehow get in touch with me if you have questions, if you want to be on the show, if you're interested, if you have a thing you want me to talk about. I'm happy to interact with you people, and I would love it if you could follow or support or share it or subscribe, whatever your podcast listening platform allows you to do. Please do it. That would be cool. And then we'll keep making the show. So there you go. That was thing 2.
Thing number 3.
Okay. I've heard several people recently. I've heard it on podcasts. I've heard professionals. I've heard big names say it. I've heard just acquaintances and coworkers say a phrase I've heard for years, and it has always troubled me. And I really started to think about it here recently and to sort of analyze why it's troubling and determine, is it actually right or not? And the phrase I'm talking about is a chink in the armor. I hear people say, oh, there's a chink in the armor, a weakness, something that can be exploited, right? And I wasn't sure if that was actually the right word, chink in the armor, because whenever I hear chink, I think of it as a racial slur against folks of Asian descent. Right. And I don't know. I think I always assumed that chink had something to do with the word China, and maybe that's where it came from. I wasn't really aware of the origin of the word chink other than the ethnic slur. So every time I hear chink in the armor, I think, gosh, that seems like it's wrong, because I've also heard people say kink in the armor, which I thought, I can't think of that having any kind of negative ethnic racial slur of any kind to it. So isn't it kink in the armor? It has to be, right? We're not actually saying chink in the armor and implying the racial slur. This is how dumb I am, everybody. I'm just revealing to you how dumb I am, that I didn't know until I Googled it, that the word chink is not used so much in America today, but in older English, it was used to describe a small gap or opening, as in armor, that could be exploited. It's a weakness. And so it's legitimately a word used. It's perfect. Chink in the armor is exactly what it's supposed to be, or is supposed to convey when people say there's a chink in the armor, there's a weakness, there's something that can be exploited. Chink in the armor is right. until you realize that chink is a ethnic slur against folks of Asian descent because of, I guess it's the eyes, right? So people refer to them as chinks probably because of the smaller gap in the eyes, and that seems to me, or that seems like why it is a racial slur, which it just sounds wrong, and I've been thinking people are saying it wrong for a while, when actually kink in the armor is incorrect. Kink, like as in a kink is in a hose or a rope or a hair, that would be a kink, a bending, or a crimping kind of something long and straight like a hose. That's a kink. And it's also bad, right? It causes something bad to happen. It weakens the flow of the hose, or it weakens the strength of the rope or hose or whatever. But a kink in the armor, not really a thing. That's not what a kink is. It's chink in the armor. And I started Googling this and found out people have gotten fired for saying chink in the armor. It's commonly used. However, ESPN has fired at least one person for referring to an Asian American player as and using the phrase chink in the armor when talking about his play and the team's play and what is the chink in the armor, with maybe with malicious intent, maybe not. Either way, it was good enough to get that person fired. So thing 3 is all about something stupid, and I don't know. Am I dumb for thinking chink in the armor is not an okay thing to say anymore? Am I dumb for thinking people should have been saying kink in the armor when that's really not a thing? Should we just eliminate it from our vocabulary so we're never using the word chink? Just like we've eliminated many other racial slurs from our language, our vocabulary. It seems to me like chink in the armor needs to go. And kink in the armor can't quite replace it. But I don't know. Maybe it's not quite that clear cut. I could be wrong. People might disagree. Tell me, what do you think? I would love to know what you think about chink or kink in the armor. Should we keep using it? Should we not? Should we use it because it's grammatically correct to say chink in the armor? However, it could be taken as offensive. I don't know. That's what's on my mind tonight before I go to bed. I'm staying way up too late to do this. It's actually technically Tuesday. This show's going to drop in record time from when I'm recording it. In less than 6 hours, this will be out. That's how quickly this show's getting turned around, people. I love you. Thank you so much for listening to 3 Things with JR. I know many of you listen all the way till the burp at the end, especially you, Gary. I love you, buddy. See you at the next band practice. Thank you again all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Maybe I'll have a special guest. Maybe we'll get some fun stuff going on here. Maybe it won't just be me rambling on about the idiotic things in my head. Have a good night. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye.